People. Happy Thursday. We're back with another installment of Cigar Box Talk, and today we're going to be talking with Ronnie Thompson from Rusty Nuts Cigar Box Guitars out of Lexington, Kentucky, and I had entitled this, hello everybody, how's everybody doing? I had entitled this the Lethal Weapon Instrument here because this poplar neck on here is thicker than a ball bat. It's thicker than a axe handle. It's really nice and beefy and thick, and Ronnie said if I ever got into any trouble while I was out playing, I could use it for a weapon. So I'm called this the Lethal Weapon guitar. We have a wonderfully cool hinge down here that he has utilized for the tailpiece. Obviously poplar neck. A couple of really nice strap pins, and it goes with this threaded rod bridge with one sound hole. It's got a piezo disc, and at 3 strings fretless goes up here to these wonderful wood burned frets and dot finders up here to the bridge, or excuse me, the nut, which is this really cool key for the nut, and it comes up to these 3 really nice end chrome black tuners, and he has a piece of wood back here. It looks like it's from a cigar box from the inside, or the top. He's mounted that to the back there. So we got some really nice corners on this bad boy too. It's a really cool slide guitar, and you heard it through the amp. I'll strum through it really quick with it just acoustically, because it's got a wonderful sound that way too. It has acoustic strings on it. Hey Chuck. So let's go ahead and get Ronnie on here. We're gonna add Ronnie. This is kind of a new thing. Let's see if it's invited him. It says it's adding. Let's see. We've got Ronnie Thompson coming on live here to talk about his guitar. And let's start here.
Am I on here now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Just been busy with the studio this week, but you already knew that because we were going to try to do this on Monday. So,
Yeah, heard your album's coming along really well. When do we get to hear the first new single off
I'm
that?
hoping that I gotta have a call with my publicist next week to send her all the tracks. So we're hopefully to have something released. I'm hoping the second week of July. So that's the goal.
Awesome.
So,
That's
but
awesome. I've heard good things. Heard good
that makes me
things.
feel good because it can be a little bit nerve wracking, as you know. I mean, you've tracked and played percussion and all that, so I mean, you know how uh, especially for me being
Yeah.
front man and the guy who puts it all together, writes the songs. I'm in there producing it, so it's been a little stressful, but not really. It's I've been blessed on how smooth it's going so far. But obviously, whenever you release new music and you release something that is for everybody to judge, you kind of get
Right.
nervous about it. But so far so good. But check out this wonderful thing you put together for me. I'm calling this the lethal weapon build just because of that. But let's talk about this a little bit, Ronnie. Where did this? First of all, let's start where did this neck come from? What did it start out with? Just a big hunk of wood, I guess.
Well, actually, it was two pieces. It was two planks that was like an inch. That was an inch thick, and I just didn't want to make like a really thin neck.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to be a thicker neck, so I glued those two pieces together. I didn't realize how hard that wood was going to be, and it seemed like whenever I was going to like file that down, and I don't use like a lot of power tools. I just use like a lot of files and things like that. And when I was filing that down, like I said, it just felt like it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The more I filed, it looked like it was just growing. And I just couldn't get it down to the size that I needed, but I wanted to get a good shape to it, and it had a good shape.
Yeah,
But that wood was just like some of the hardest wood I'd ever tried to work in my life.
yeah. I didn't even.
It feels like a baseball
Yeah,
bat. It really
it was
does.
two pieces until you said something, and I'm looking at it right now. I had no idea until really paid attention.
Yeah, I just didn't want to give you like a little thin guitar. I'm like, that's not giving somebody anything when you give them a thin guitar like this. And I said, I wanted something, to fill your hand. Well, I did that and more. I mean,
Oh,
it's huge.
so what got you started in the building, and how long have you been doing it?
Out now, we were going through the clearance section of a bookstore, and we had those. Actually, it's right here behind us.
Little blues box.
The infamous.
Yep.
Yep, that's what we saw. And one of the electives for a Cub Scout is they can make a musical instrument. Most Cub Scouts, when they do those electives, they make like a drum because that's something easy for them to do, or a shaker or something like that. Well, I said, Blake, that's something really cool. You can actually make a guitar and get your elective that way. Well, he made it and basically put it in the corner, and it sat there for a couple of weeks. And I went over and picked it up one day, and well, long story short, I've got a bone disorder and throughout my body, and my hands. Whenever I go to bend my hands, they don't bend correctly. Even though I had an uncle teach me a lot of the chords when I was younger, I couldn't do the chords correctly. So whenever I played guitar, I had to alter them to fit the way I bend my fingers, and it always sounded horrible. I never could play. So that's why I stopped and started playing percussion from that point on. So when I picked this thing up and I saw the slide, and read the book and I was listening to that little thing, and I'm like, I can make chords with this thing with just one finger. Well, I fell in love, so I started watching YouTube videos of learning how to play this thing. Well, of course, anytime you watch YouTube, other videos start popping up. Well, of course, popping up how to build them. So me and Blake was sitting here alone one weekend. I forget where my wife went one weekend, but me and Blake was just sitting here, and I'm like, we're going to build one. And that's just kind of how it started. We went to town. We finally found a cigar box, and we just had a jigsaw, a screwdriver, and a Dremel tool, and a bucket of rusty nuts. And that's exactly how it started. And then that's how we got the name. It's just that, it was just that
You know,
simple.
I had the pleasure of meeting your boy a couple weeks ago, who is just
Yeah.
light, and you know, he we ended up playing. I ended up playing one of his CVGs because I broke that string. Obviously, I put one back on there. So, but you know, I was impressed with, you know, just his personality and the build, and you know, it just tickles me to death that y'all are doing it together. And we have dubbed him Little Rusty Nuts. So,
And not just you, it's caught on. A few others have been calling him that too. Yeah. I said, "You don't mind it being?" He's like, "No, no, I'm cool with that." So he's a neat little guy. He really is. He's cool. He's a cool
well, you
kid.
know, when people, you know, when other people give you a nickname, you know, a lot of times it sticks. You know, you can't give yourself.
Kind of hard to get rid of.
Probably
Yeah.
be stuck with that for a while until he grows out. It gets a growth spurt. So he'll probably be Little Rusty Nuts for a while. Uh, I think that's cool though that you know you all the whole thing kind of started with something, you know, together. You know, something that y'all did.
Yeah, we were together from the very beginning. And it was his idea to actually start doing this as a business. It was totally his idea, not mine.
That's cool. You got to
He was the one.
man. You got anything in the house you want to show off? Anything new?
Well, some things here. Let's see if I can. These are some of my builds. Let's see. How can I show it? This is the one I built today. Just a little simple.
Ooh, I love that feather on there. Yeah,
Yeah. I just thought it kind of just give it a little something weird.
really pretty and clean for sure, man. Good on you on that one. I like that a lot.
That one is just I kind of built it on a little hobo fiddle style head
Yeah,
there.
great.
Something really simple. I was kind of having a little pain today, so really didn't go overboard with that one. I think this one now was really
I
cool.
love those.
My mom sent me two of these boxes from Florida, and I had them sit back for the longest time because I didn't know how leather would affect the sound. And but it doesn't. It really doesn't. They sound really
I
good.
did.
I put a
I
go ahead.
did. I found one of those boxes one time, and I built, and I was surprised with how good the fretless sounded. I don't know if it's because of how thin the box is, and maybe that leather dampens that piezo in some way. Because you know, just like you, most of my builds have been piezo on leather, unless otherwise, you know, someone requests, you know, a different pickup. I
Yeah,
really, when I just saw that in the corner, I was like, oh yeah, that's a cool.
yeah. And I put a yardstick for the fret for the I usually don't do like fretboards. I usually just make it one piece, but I did do a yardstick fretboard on this one, and I did my like. Can you see like the little fret marks on the side of the yardstick there?
That's cool, man. Good on you.
And this was the one that you'll love this one because I'll have to apologize to you while I'm doing this. This will look familiar, won't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this was supposed to be yours. Okay, and about 30 minutes after I got through cutting the box, I remembered, oh yeah, he's left-handed. So I'm gonna have to find I'm gonna have to buy another box, man.
I'll
But anyway, so
I'll see if I got something with one. I've had a couple of those badges ones before. Oh, look at that damn headstock. That's cool, man.
I try to make it look like a scorpion tail
Damn.
to go with the with the little scorpion on the box.
That's great.
So anyway, the little things I put like the markers on the side. Anyway, that's kind of what I did this week, was working on a few of those little things, but been pretty busy. I'm trying to get some builds up ahead for before the next one, which is in Alabama. Where is it in Alabama? I think
Hunts.
Huntsville, I
Yeah,
think.
unfortunately, I
Huh?
ain't gonna be able to make it to that one this year because I've got a gig in Paducah. But I was trying to make them both work, but I would have had to, you know, leave Huntsville like, you know, after being a couple hours to get back to Paducah for the gig. So unfortunately, I won't be able to be in Huntsville, but you'll enjoy it. They had a last year I performed there, and the crowd, I mean, just the people coming out to listen was just a sea of people in the so.
Well, that'll give me a little extra time because I was planning on presenting the guitar there to you. So that'll give me a little extra time to get it to you.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. And this time I will remember that you're left-handed.
There's something funny that I wanted to when you said that you don't understand how many that I've made left-handed and had to go back, not thinking like when I cut how the tuners go on the headstock, or they'll be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Went out there with the tuning keys on the bottom instead of the top where they should have been, because I just go left-handed all the time.
Well, I'm just out there. Sometimes I just get in the zone and I don't think. I'm just, you just do it automatically and you're not even thinking. That's what I was doing. Just out there working, wasn't even thinking.
Well, when you make so many of them and you kind of get your own routine, you can kind of go through the motions and just, all right, we're gonna cut like this, we're gonna sand it like this, we're gonna do this, So I totally understand that. And that's just been like me. I have like messed up some stuff, and I've had to call the people like, hey, do you want to pick another box? Because I'm left-handed. So
that box I came from Florida. My mom bought that one for me, so she's going to kill me.
One time what I did, I had this really nice box. I knew I wasn't going to be able to find another one, so I took the hinges off, filled them in, and just flipped the lid over and re-put the hinges in.
Well, that'd be cool, but with the Camacho, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, those have those little lip on them, don't they, where they close, where the hinges set in there, so you wouldn't be able to move that backwards, I don't think.
No, because I don't think you could. Not the way this one's made, and the way I had to do the cut. I don't think it'd work. I could try it. I'll open it up tomorrow and see. Well, I'm going to have to open it up anyway because I tried to put I got a magnetic pickup on it, and I try to put it underneath the box lid, and it just doesn't have the volume that I like. So I'm going to have to go back underneath there and either put it all the way through, or maybe try to take some of the wood out from underneath it or something.
Yeah, that would work. Because I did a couple of recluse pickups because I had got that bill from Chuck Hanna-Barger, and he had put the pickups under the box, and I had never done that myself. I thought it was cool to not take away from the graph. And I had my last bill that I just delivered on Sunday, I had put a pickup underneath there, and what I ended up doing is I ended up taking a chisel and just chiseling out a little bit of the wood in the box. It seemed to amp up that connection a little better. So yeah, that would.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I've tried using this pickup. It's I got it from MGD or MGB rather, and so I've never used this pickup before. So I'm like I said, so I'm not really sure what its capabilities are. It's a little smaller than what I'm used to.
Is it the $5 make you holler pickup?
No, it's the one above that. I think it's the 750 or whatever it is.
Something. Yeah, he's got names for him, but yeah.
Yeah.
$5 make me holler in that one I was just telling you about. So maybe if you do clear up some of that wood and that top, you will get the desired sound, because that pickup's supposed to be a little bit hotter than the $5 one from what I'm gathering. It's supposed to have some higher output. So I haven't used much of it than what I've got Chuck Hanna-Barger in that guitar. And then Chuck gave me a few little parts to play around with a couple weeks ago. But I'm not going to keep you on too much longer. I know it's about 9:30 where you're at. So
yeah,
but
no big
got
deal.
Little Rusty Nuts, is he in bed?
No, he's upstairs right now. We don't let him. We're not those strict parents. We're one of those kind of relaxed kind of parents, as you could probably guess. But we do. Even though as old as he is, we still do. We have a father-son thing that we've done every day since the day we brought him home. Me and him read together every day, even though he's like 11 now. We still read together before we go to bed. But I mean, he's smart. I mean, he's like, you know, he's a pure genius as far as that goes. So it's worked. I mean, it's done its job. So
Absolutely loved, obviously meeting you when me and Herb came up to Wildside Wine. I mean, obviously, I enjoy meeting you and talking with you, but seeing you two together and the bond that you all have, it's like, I mean, that's something.
yeah, it's crazy, but he's my best friend. I mean, he really
Yeah, that's
is.
good.
You know,
I can
right?
I can dig that. Well, Rusty Nuts, I'm gonna let you go. Big Rusty Nuts, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna play a little bit.
See you, man.
A little bit more on this for the people. Have a good night. Tell your son I said hey. All right.
Will do. Thanks, Travis.
Be good, man.